Old schoolhouse on Elm Street. Most of you probably drive past it without a second glance. It's been abandoned for decades, a decaying relic of a forgotten time. The windows are boarded up, the paint is peeling, and the playground is a rusted skeleton of what it once was. But this isn't just an old building, it's a place with a story. A dark and tragic one that refuses to be forgotten. A story that still echoes through its empty halls and across its desolate yard. They say if you listen closely on a quiet night, you can still hear her, the ghost of a little girl, forever tied to the place where her life was cruelly cut short. Her name was Lily, a bright, happy child with ribbons in her hair and a smile that could light up the gloomiest day. She loved school, but most of all, she loved the playground. The swings were her favorite. She'd spend hours there, pumping her legs, trying to fly higher and higher. Her laughter carried on the wind. One autumn afternoon, just as the leaves were turning brilliant shades of red and gold, tragedy struck. The details are murky, lost to time and whispered rumors. Some say she fell from the highest point of the swing set. Others whisper of a more sinister event. A push, an accident that was no accident at all. Whatever happened, Lily never went home that day. Her laughter was replaced by screams, then silence. A silence that has haunted the school ever since. The school tried to move on. They repaired the swing set, washed away the stains, but they couldn't wash away the memory. Soon after the incident, strange things began to happen. Teachers reported hearing a child's faint laughter echoing from the empty playground after dark. Janitors would find a single swing moving on its own, swaying gently back and forth in the dead, still air of the night, as if an invisible child were still playing. Objects in classrooms would move by themselves. A book falling off a shelf, a piece of chalk rolling across the floor. It was subtle at first, easily dismissed as drafts or old building quirks. But then, the sightings began. Students would catch fleeting glimpses of a small figure in a faded dress out of the corner of their eye, only for it to vanish when they turned to look. They'd hear their names whispered in empty hallways. The most terrifying encounters happened near the playground. Children would complain of being pushed off the swings by an unseen force, or feeling a cold, tiny hand grab their ankle as they climbed the jungle gym. The once joyful playground became a place of fear. Parents grew concerned, and enrollment dwindled. The school, already struggling, couldn't survive the weight of its own ghost story. Within a few years, it was forced to close its doors for good. But closing the school didn't silence Lily's spirit. It only gave her free rein over the entire property. Over the years, the abandoned school on Elm Street became a local legend, a dare for teenagers and a subject for paranormal investigators. Many have ventured inside, armed with cameras and audio recorders, hoping to capture proof of the schoolyard ghost. Few leave without a story to tell. One group of high schoolers broke in on a dare. They explored the dusty classrooms, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Everything was quiet until they reached the gymnasium. As they stood in the center of the vast empty room, they heard it. The distinct rhythmic thud of a basketball bouncing. Dribble, dribble, dribble. It grew louder, closer, echoing in the cavernous space. But there was no ball, and there was no one there. They fled in terror, swearing they also heard a little girl's giggle fade away behind them. Another story comes from a pair of urban explorers who decided to spend the night. They set up their equipment in the main office, a central point to monitor the building. Around 3 in the morning, a time often associated with peak paranormal activity, all of their cameras simultaneously shut off. The air grew ice cold, and they heard the sound of tiny, frantic footsteps running up and down the hallway just outside the door. Then, a soft, sorrowful crying began, seeming to come from right behind the office door. It was the sound of a heartbroken child, a sound so filled with pain that the explorers, two grown men, were paralyzed with fear. They huddled together until sunrise, refusing to open the door until they could see the light of day. Perhaps the most chilling account is from a paranormal investigation team that recorded an EVP, an electronic voice phenomenon. They were on the playground, asking questions into the darkness. "Is there anyone here with us?" they asked. "Can you tell us your name?" They heard nothing at the time, but when they reviewed the audio later, a faint, wispy voice could be heard after their question. It was the voice of a little girl, and it said a single haunting word: play. The team also captured a photograph that night. In the photo, standing by the rusted swing set, is a faint, translucent figure of a small child. Her form is blurry, but you can just make out the shape of a dress and long, dark hair. Some believe Lily's spirit is trapped, endlessly reliving her last happy moments on the swings and the terror of her fall. They see her as a lost, sad soul, not a malevolent one. Her pushes and whispers are not meant to harm, but are the desperate attempts of a lonely child trying to get someone, anyone, to play with her, to acknowledge that she's still there. She doesn't understand that she's a ghost, or that her world is no longer the one she knew. She's just a little girl who wants to swing higher and higher, to laugh, and to feel the sun on her face one more time. Others, however, tell a darker version. They believe the tragedy twisted Lily's spirit into something resentful and angry. Angry that her life was cut short. Angry that she's been forgotten by the world of the living. In this version, the moving objects, the whispers, the cold spots, they aren't invitations to play. They're warnings. Stay away. This is her playground now, her school. Those who disrespect her memory or trespass in her home are met not with playful antics, but with pure terror. Doors slamming shut, trapping people inside, objects being thrown across rooms with violent force, and a blood-curdling scream that replaces the sound of laughter. To this day, the school stands silent and watchful. The swing set, with one swing perpetually swaying, serves as a grim monument to the girl who loved it so much. Local authorities warn people to stay away, citing the dangers of the decaying structure. But the locals know the real reason. They know it isn't safe. Whether Lily is a sad, lonely spirit or a vengeful phantom, one thing is certain: she is still there, waiting for the next person to wander onto her playground. So if you ever find yourself on Elm Street late at night, and you see that old, abandoned school, maybe don't stop. Don't listen for the whispers on the wind. And whatever you do, don't go near the swings, because you might just find that a little girl is waiting to play, and it's a game you won't survive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there. When you're a kid, the world can feel so big and overwhelming, right? Especially when you're dealing with tough emotions that you don't quite understand. It's like trying to navigate a stormy sea without a map. Sometimes these feelings can become so heavy that it feels like there's no way out. But I want you to know, right here, right now, that's never true. There's always hope. Imagine you're carrying a backpack that gets heavier every single day. At first, it's just a few books, manageable. But then, More things get added, maybe some tough words from someone at school, a misunderstanding with a friend, or pressure to be perfect. Soon, that backpack feels impossibly heavy, and you might think about just dropping it and walking away from everything. This feeling, this overwhelming weight, is something many people experience. It's a sign that you're carrying too much on your own. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're human and you need support. Just like you'd ask for help carrying a heavy box, it's okay, and actually very brave, to ask for help carrying heavy emotions. Let's talk about what that help looks like. It starts with a simple conversation. It could be with a parent, a teacher you trust, a school counselor, or an older sibling. Just saying the words, "I'm not okay," can be the first step to making that backpack feel lighter. These people care about you more than you know, and they want to help you sort through what's inside that heavy bag. They can help you unpack it, one thing at a time. Think of your mind like a garden. When we're feeling down, it's like weeds are starting to grow. If we ignore them, they can take over and choke out all the beautiful flowers. But if we tend to our garden, pull out the weeds, and give it water and sunlight, it can flourish. Talking about your feelings is like pulling out those weeds. Activities you love, like drawing, playing sports, listening to music, or just being in nature, are the water and sunlight. It's also important to remember that everyone has bad days. Everyone feels sad, angry, or confused sometimes. You are not alone in this. Even the most cheerful person you know has their own internal battles. The difference is how we deal with them. Instead of letting those feelings bottle up inside, we need to find healthy ways to let them out. Maybe writing in a journal is your thing. You can pour all your thoughts onto the page without any judgment. Or perhaps moving your body helps. Dancing around your room, going for a run, or playing a game can release so much tension. The key is to find what works for you, your own personal way of tending to your mental garden. And you know what? It's okay if you don't have all the answers. No one does. Life is a journey of learning and growing, and that includes learning how to take care of our mental health. Sometimes the best thing we can do is just be kind to ourselves. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would show a best friend who is going through a tough time. If you ever feel like the darkness is too much, or that backpack is just too heavy to carry another step, please reach out. There are amazing people who are trained to help and are waiting for your call or message. They can provide a safe space for you to talk and give you the tools you need to navigate these feelings. Your life is so incredibly valuable, and your story is far from over. You have so many amazing chapters yet to write, filled with joy, laughter, and success. This storm will pass. The sun will come out again, and you will be stronger for having sailed through it. Don't ever give up on yourself, because there is a world of people who will never give up on you. You matter. Your feelings matter, and your future is bright. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that help is available. You can connect with people who can support you by calling or texting 988 anytime in the US and Canada. In the UK, you can call 111. These services are free, confidential, and available 24/7. Please reach out. You are not alone.